Hello and welcome back to Chainsaw Saw. I'm Jim,
I'm Sam.
And I'm Maddie.
Hi.
and this is
Welcome.
our awesome Chainsaw Man Part 2 review, reaction, discussion podcast. This week we're going to be talking about chapters 165 to 170.
Probably the most talked about chapters of Chainsaw Man Part 2 yet, somehow.
It's true. It's like each chapter was like, how much more can we make this a talking point?
How much suffering can one series have?
It is getting pretty crazy. Like, it's funny. I know it had been a few weeks since we last recorded because last time it took us like forever to catch up. But now I feel like we caught up at the right time. Really for me, because I wasn't reading week to week, but now it's just like, damn, you gotta fucking make sure you read as soon as you can, otherwise you're spoiled.
Yeah, no, I did see some very courteous people. People who would normally post like full-on spoilers, including I have like I put out my warning post, I put out my reminder post, and then I just do my straight reactions to things from the chapter. Like I'm not gonna spoiler things. But this week, the specifically chapter 170, which we'll cover for specific reasons, I was a little bit more hesitant to just directly talk about the major things going on there.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy. Of course, we're gonna get to it in time, but yeah, it's we are really entering an unforeseen level of chaos in Chainsaw Man.
So yeah, I guess we should get started with... I don't even know, man, what half of these chapters of
So-
like discussion's gonna go to on these.
It's funny, starting with chapter 165, it's funny, there's kind of like this, we're bringing up this idea again of just how normalized like death has become in this world. Like Denji is the one that is kind of like surprised to see just like I can't remember if they have a name, like the chainsaw, the pseudo chainsaw men corpses.
I think it's pseudo Chainsaw Man or like Chainsaw Man virus, something like that.
And he's like, damn, is that a dead body? And what's his face? I forget his name. He's just like, yeah, they'll get it. Like the cleaners will get it. Like that's something you say about like trash on the ground, not like a human body.
I
Just
do
expect
like the title of the chapter tying into that, everyday scenery, which
Yeah.
is just one key element of part 2 I've noticed a good bit, especially going back and rereading a bunch of arcs, is like how like society or like the people around have been reacting. There is like a clear distinction between how people were reacting beforehand to how they're reacting now, and like we're like as the clock keeps ticking forward and closer and closer to Nostradamus' prediction, we see more and more unrest and ugliness from like the world around us.
Yeah, and it's funny, like I've been just kind of looking back at part 2 in general, and just seeing like how it began. And even though things were like really shitty, because we got a whole different perspective of the world from someone like Asa. We didn't really see that kind of perspective before. And it still was like really shitty, but now it's like even more horrific and worse. And I don't know, it just makes you think like, even just like when they're on the fucking train, you just see I guess it's probably from the fallout of like the Falling Devil attack and all the other like proxy wars that have happened, but buildings are just completely destroyed and abandoned.
The beat up civilian like in front of it too, like on the train.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
the mom and her son, or like sister and her brother. Like we don't know the distinct like age or relation these people have, but we do know that the only thing they have is each other.
Mm-hmm.
And I also like that missing an eye like ties back to the position Denji used to be in at the beginning of Chainsaw Man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I've also been rewatching the anime recently, and that was like, man, we used to have way humbler beginnings. Now like shit's so fucked.
Yeah, that humble beginning of, sliced up and...
At least it didn't feel like the world was constantly ending. Like, at least we had that going for us back then. Now it's just like, oh no, everything is just worse. Every day things get a little bit worse.
Yeah. And I like we get the hey Fammy explains it all kind
This
of.
is so fucking funny because like literally Denji has just kind of been dragged along at this point. He doesn't really even know what's going on. And by asking Fami this, we learned some like incredibly crucial information that has never been brought up before, which also I don't believe. Like, I just straight up do not believe Fami here. I think Fami is just like telling a very convenient lie to Asa so that she believes this. She believes this and will go along with her plan. Basically, she's saying that the whole goal is to like separate Denji from the Chainsaw Man. And we can do this easily and save Denji by just giving him a normal human heart. And he'll become
Easy as
an
that.
ordinary human again.
Just plop another one in there after you remove the heart.
I hope that wherever his heart virus that is genetic comes from was tied to his specific heart and not like
The
any
Goku
other
heart
part of
virus?
any other part of his body that will then infect his new heart. But
Denji and Goku have a similarity of just having a heart disease.
But yeah, I think to me this feels like a very convenient lie that Asa would just use again, or that Fami would use against Asa.
I love, like, sure, she's done some bad things before, but her heart's in the right place. I'm like, you barely know Fami at all. Like, she just showed up and ate all your food at one point. Like, I don't know. It's very interesting.
The way Asa is acting feels like she has come a long ways, and like they do point that out later, that she has definitely changed as a person, while also she has like the core of who she used to be, but she's definitely a lot more assertive now as well. Like demanding, like Fami explained is like normally she would probably just ask her, or originally I don't think she would have like demanded that type of thing from her. Also, man, Fami has just like been reduced to like sits there silently with her head to the side until asked a question directly.
She can't be bothered.
But
Yes.
It feels like Asa has come a long ways from where she began as well.
Yeah, and that's like a really good way to like introduce her in this little section of chapters too, because she does go through some like pretty crazy shit. Not even like consensually either. Like it seemed. We'll talk about the stuff that happens shortly, but she's very much not totally in control still, or ever will be, potentially.
Because, you know, these horse women will just keep lying and deceiving, because I still don't believe, like, War will disappear and let Asa be herself.
It's weird, because I'm not sure if I can actually trust the devils, because, like, usually there's like a level of like, well, you see, devils they're bastards, but like they're true to their word, which is technically true. A contract is a hard set thing, but like the only contract we've seen be broken is Chainsaw Man's contract, and when that happened, he only got like stronger. So, but he did lose control, and like it's hard to say like because we ever actually like. Thinking back to it, like Himeno in like part 1 mentions that devil contracts are like their word, and like if both parties or if one party fulfills their end, the other party has to, or else they die. Like, do they die?
But
like,
they can also like cut those contracts, because like didn't like the fox let's just like peace out after getting his ass beaten.
Yeah,
like...
the Fox Devil was not a fan of what happened with Katana, so she stopped being Aki's friend.
Get the fuck out of here! Break this contract.
So they can break contracts, but I'm curious, like, what does a broken contract look like? So how far can we trust devils? Like, clearly not very far, because things like fiends can lie like a motherfucker.
Yeah.
Like
but they're like the weird mix, like of human and devil, kind of like it's a weird different thing. Like, I guess you can't make a contract with the fiend. You could just like try to bribe them, like they did with the nail fiend. Of like, oh yeah, you wanted a restaurant? Or...
Yeah, fiends seem to be closer to humans, where devils seem to have like ideas of what it means to be a person.
I always think of the future devil when it comes to like the devil contracts, and like that, like, you know, the best case for that. Because, like, you know, Makima made contracts, but, like, you never really, I guess, seen the contract she made. She just kind of did shit and just said, I had it already.
Like...
Yeah, it is... Yeah, sorry, you can go.
Oh, sorry. I'm just curious if... Because, like, yeah, Yoru is hard to trust, because Yoru falls into that sort of vague fiend category, where, like, she could probably lie, like, very easily. I don't think she is capable of actually lying, because I think she's a little dumb, but, like, I think she can lie. She possesses the function. Where Fami, I'm not sure. She's been pretty honest about things and pretty direct when asked about things.
She's just like a sloth, like the sin of sloth, where she just doesn't want to, unless she's asked, she's just not gonna do anything.
She is lying by omission, like not telling them things,
Yeah.
but like she just stands there and can just stone face everything and like is constantly hungry.
I am so excited whenever we animate to just hear what her voices will sound like animated.
Okay, I'm really hung up on this lying thing now. Back in the one chapter when, like, she was in Asa's apartment and was just like, hey, can I eat these things? Was there a scene where Asa was like, I'm trying to remember if there was an opportunity for her to lie there, where she said that she wouldn't eat everything or something.
The
but
closest
maybe not.
thing to a lie we have from her is who she's identified as each Chainsaw Man. But that could just be her perspective of things, because I believe she calls Denji, the half Chainsaw Man, the red Chainsaw Man, the one that Yoru wanted to fight. But that could just be a mix-up of my reading of it, because she could be referring to, you want to fight the red Chainsaw Man, but you really want to fight the black Chainsaw Man, which feels like what the story is going with.
Mm-hmm.
Because red Chainsaw is Denji, and so they want to save him. Well, they want to save him, in quotes. But
it's weird.
I don't
like,
believe...
I hope we get more detail with the contract stuff, because like they're trying to forcibly break a contract. If other people, like, I don't know, it could be some weird, like, I feel like
it's
double
true.
contracts
Denji
are always a
hasn't
weird
actively
thing.
broken his contract. Makima has made him break his contract.
Yeah, it's
before.
everybody else's. I guess that's allowed. Everybody else can just sabotage a person's contract and just like forcibly break it, even though it's kind of,
But then again, I think I should get refunded my fucking skin I paid to the Fox Devil because she threw up my fucking Katana Man. She didn't do what she was supposed. She was not very helpful against any hybrid, honestly. Like Reze walks through her as well.
Yeah,
jobber ass contract. Yeah.
It's bugging me so much. I know I watched something recently that had a similar sort of like contract rule. I was watching or reading some anime or manga. This is gonna bug me. Where they had a similar contract rule, and if the devil broke it, they would die. Oh no! Okay, I remember it. It's fucking Nier. In the Drakengard series, you can make like a contract with like a beast, essentially like a dragon or something. Humans can't do it with themselves, but you can with a beast, and like a dragon, for example. And if you do, if you like break the rule, or if one of you dies, both die. So
yeah, you're connected spiritually, but if you break the rule, I believe it just breaks the contract and you're separated. So if you were dying and you were saved by the fusion, you go back to dying. Because I think, like, in Drakengard 1, Kaim does the fusion with the dragon, and, like, he gets, like, superpowers and, like, the ability to summon a dragon, but he loses his ability to speak.
Yeah, and then there's, like, all these crazy fan theories that people think that Kaim, like, lived past, like, his dragon dying after the end of Drakengard 1, and it goes into the whole crazy, like, universe that spawned the Nier series. Really fun stuff.
I was more thinking, like, Supernatural and, like, the Crossroad demons and everything in that show.
I have been watching Supernatural, so like that was also what came to mind right away.
Yeah,
because Supernatural, they really like to devils are bastards, but we are honest.
Unless you meet Crowley, he's great.
Hey, Crowley is explicitly honest. It's Abaddon who's the jerk.
Every other demon is a jerk other than Crowley in Supernatural.
Crowley will fuck you through like the fine penmanship of the contract you sign.
I mean, that's Demon 101 is always read the contract if like in any kind of media. You always got to read the fine print.
That doesn't like the fucking there's just a scene where he is just it's like a whole montage of him going over a big long contract with someone else. Like they have him trapped in a devil's trap, and he's just like, "All right, let's get to work."
Go over all the fine detail. I love when like, yeah, this is the paperwork, man. But I'm gonna guess we're gonna get like a chapter like that, just kind of going over contracts. I think maybe when we actually get more about the devil hunters, because like they are nothing in this.
I don't know.
It's true. How is Quan Chi even having anyone keep her wives hostage? They broke into the maximum security prison and broke out the same day.
Literally, Katana and Nail Fiend defected immediately.
So, like what the fuck's going on there?
Kishibe
Also,
comes
where's
back.
Peepaw? Well, he laid down to take a nap and he hasn't woken up for 75 chapters.
Kishibe is gonna come back in, just everything on fire, be like, I go on one trip overseas and like you guys.
He's gonna
The
come back.
apocalypse.
I've contracted like a bunch of devils from all across the world.
Oh, that'd be
I bet
so
there's
cool.
one person in like the Hunter Association that actually does the paperwork of contracts.
I wonder if Kishibe is doing a Constantine. Sorry to like completely derail, but thinking of contracts, I remember Ping Shui. She does her like examination of him and says that like he's got nothing left to offer. But like, if you have nothing left to offer and you still make contracts with guys who think you do you just Constantine that shit where they can't collect?
That is
Yeah,
interesting.
you just sell your soul to like 20 different people and like
You have them
you all
fight
gotta
it
fight.
out.
Yeah, you can't. No one has your soul.
Me selling my debt to China and Iran so that they have to go to
Just
war
causing a
with each
world
other.
war off of your own debt.
But it's interesting too, like what you're kind of bringing up about like a family like lying by omission, or a family like Fami even like telling the truth to herself, but she's saying a falsehood. You know what I mean? Like I wonder how much a devil is able to like understand. Like, would a devil be able to like read someone supernaturally and make the call of, oh, this guy has nothing else to give? Or could he, like as you said, lie and be like, oh no, you can take my left testicle or whatever?
But yeah, we're only one chapter.
We're barely 3 pages in. So
yeah,
this
sorry,
is,
sorry, that side tangent. I've just been thinking a lot about
No.
devils.
no, it's fun. This is why we all convene here. But so yeah, basically like Denji kind of goes on like a little like mini rant. He just kind of talks about like how like what do you even do anymore? Like what do I even do with my life anymore? He gives this whole like sad story about how when he was hungry he would go to the public restroom in the park and he would eat the toilet paper.
Oh, the poop paper.
And then when he stopped going hungry, he couldn't eat the toilet paper anymore, which makes sense because like obviously his needs are being fulfilled. But now
yeah,
he's like so
he's
fucking
gained a level of like quality of life that he can't revert back to.
And like people don't know, like back, you can go back to your old normal life, and he never had that before he had the devil heart in him. So like it was always shit, the worst thing ever.
And yeah, it also shows like he's physically unable to go back. Like Denji's not a character that can just like sit and wallow anymore. Like he's been uplifted in ways, like he's seen the better things. He can't return to like that shitty way. To him, it'd probably be preferable to die than to have to go back to that kind of lifestyle.
Which I love that, like, I can never go back to the way things used to be, juxtaposed to the destroyed remains of the city from both the Chainsaw Man outbreak and the Falling Devil stuff. Like, yeah, the world's probably not going to recover from this because if you remember what Yoru talked about back when the Falling Devil stuff happened, she mentioned that, like, the global, like, disasters across the world has led to, like, crises within countries that are now planning to go to war. Like, in one like 10 chapter arc, we saw the Gun Devil, like a brief reemergence of it, like that worldwide panic.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Japan's fucked up, at least. Like Japan's fucked.
Oh,
So,
I mean, like,
every
everywhere's
apocalypse.
fucked. Like her gravity affected like other countries, causing like cave-ins and killing like at least. I mean, it's like at least 2,000 people. Sounds like a really small number, but that was like the on-site estimate. So like,
Jeez.
Let alone like all of the like after effects of just that, and not to even like push aside like it's been said, yeah, there's like skirmishes and basically like countries are just going to war now. Like it's like all hell's breaking loose. But in this moment where Denji's at his lowest, Asa is just kind of like being his white knight for like almost no reason other than she seems to like have a crush on him. She literally is like, I'll save you no matter what.
But unfortunately, Katana Man's more the white knight because he said, I'll take you to the best place ever, a brothel.
Katana Man becoming a fucking anti-hero, like fucking ally, was not on my bingo card list. I never fucking expected to see him again, let alone fucking in this role.
It's great.
Even like pulling a cigarette out and like smoking, he is such like a fucking anti-hero.
What a fucking loser. He pulled the cigarette out, took one hit off that shit, and threw it on the ground. He didn't even stomp it out.
But yeah, literally, I love the line at the end. I just have to say it. Nothing cheers a man up faster than boning a woman. Hilarious. Hilarious and true. Every man knows this to be true.
But yeah, and then it goes to the next chapter, which is the Kamen Rider O's title, which is Rain Brothel Removal, having the three things. And yeah, I love it.
Called
His combo, his three medals.
Rayothol
But yeah,
so
I love
he
it.
owns it. He literally, Katana Man owns a fucking brothel.
He still owns it while
was-
being like on like house arrest essentially, which is very funny. If he's still like, he still owns it.
I had friends who were very worried about this chapter before it came out because of the implications. If you remember back in part 1, man, I keep going to part 1. But if you remember back in part 1, Kobeni had 2 career options.
Oh yeah.
Oh
Everybody
my
has this
God.
fan theory.
And one of them went up in smoke quite recently compared to this chapter. So the other option, there was a lot of concern that she may appear in this chapter.
I thought she could have showed up in the sushi restaurant too.
I don't know if she can do food service anymore. She's probably banned from that. Nationwide ban. Do not hire this woman for food service.
Cursed woman.
Cursed woman.
I love the expression that, like, so he's like, yeah, we'll go get a happy ending. And then Asa's like, that's the last thing on Denji's mind, right? And then there's, like, his expression of, like, deep in thought. And
He's pondering, Jim.
He's pondering. He's pondering so hard. Like, he does that thing when you're, like, really, like, in a thought and you kind of shift around a bit. And it's hilarious. Like, we get really into
He
Denji.
bites his finger.
Like, this is, like, so fucking good.
I
This is
love
like
her
peak
face
Chainsaw Man.
so much. Her face looking at him, contemplating it.
She's so she looks like a fucking like alien, like an Alamayo alien. She's just like, what the fuck is he doing? And this is like great. Like, this is fucking amazing. Denji is what? What is he like? Is he 17? Is he 18 now?
I believe he was he says he's 16 all the way back in part, like, at the meetup. And I believe it's been only a year, so it'd be 17 to 18.
So,
I
like,
think, oh no,
this
he has to be 18. Because he has because Power's killed on his birthday.
Oh.
So he was 17,
Yes,
and then he'd be 18 now.
Okay.
Or he'd be approaching 18, because we don't know the exact day. We just know... Actually, no, I think he's still 17. Because we know that it's like, I think 7 months before September 17, or July 1995, or 1999, specifically, I think it's specifically July 26, 1999, and Denji has a birthday after September, because it has to be after the Gun Devil, because he kills the Gun Devil, and then Makima takes him to his apartment. So I think his birthday's actually like September 18th. I'm gonna double check that, because it's probably on the wiki.
Probably.
No, I love hearing you math it out. It's more interesting.
But yeah.
But so my point, the reason why I mentioned that was because Denji is a fucking teenage boy. Like, sex is incredibly important to him. That's something we've seen forever. And for him to, like, have this, like, easy way, because we know that he hasn't had sex yet. Like, that's, like, an important plot point. That was, like, one of his big goals. We know he hasn't had sex, and to literally just be like, this is the most stressful time of my life. I don't know what to do. Here is literally just a speed run to my goal. Like, I can just have sex right now.
For science, Jim.
For science.
He did the whole scientific theory in his head.
In February or January of 1999 right now. Because that's when the Chainsaw Man Church fought public safety.
So then he would be 17 then, right? Is that what...
I see the wiki lists it as 18. It's unclear specifically because we don't know, like, the exact day he was. Actually, we'd have to know his exact birthday.
I don't think he wants to celebrate his birth. I don't think he acknowledges his birthday anymore anyway.
Yeah,
It's true. He just, we just know that it had to have happened after September because that's what like Power shows up with the cake.
But yeah, I love this, like, how much Denji's, like, thinking about this, and, like, to him, like, all of his troubles kind of boil down to, oh, well, if I can, like, sexually satisfy myself, I won't need, like, all of my other concerns go away. It's almost like he's using this as like pure escapism.
It's like eating or sleep. Like it's a required thing maybe to make me feel better, to maybe get like he needs that post nut clarity is what he's saying he needs.
I mean, there is science behind that.
Honestly, he's kind of not wrong. I mean, like,
well, we'll get there.
This is a funny thing. Like, if you've ever been on Reddit, you'll see this advice. Like, I mean, he's not wrong. Like, having it's like what's the word? It is healthy to like have like a
release.
To be sexually active. Like, I mean, you know what I mean.
I believe like it's just like a psychological release. It gives you strong stimulant, and it helps. It actually does help clear your mind. That's where post nut clarity comes from. But post nut clarity has been tied to the thing that you were doing it to, so like it became like a negative thing, especially if it was something that like was not the great. That's like the joke of post nut clarity. But like it does help like clear your mind and get yourself focused. In fact, it can be recommended by some people if you're like in an incredibly stressful like position. But I do like him bringing it up like that's how it is for dudes, right? And he looks to the other two dudes. And like, there's just a fucking the paneling is perfect. It's we're not part of this conversation.
Yeah.
We're literally in a frame panel to your side.
Do you think any of the freaking Chainsaw Man club like get anything?
Nah, they don't. They're late. They're losers unless they got married before.
Well, one of them is in an interesting position because I've seen some interesting theories online based off of one line involving them, but we'll get to that when we get to that.
Okay.
Well, let's talk about Despair, which is Katana Man's business being destroyed.
Well, the one last thing I just want to point out, I do love that Asa is so like opposed to Denji in this scene, where she's just like how can you even fucking think about sex at this moment? Like, whereas to Denji, that is like all he has left. That's kind of the way I'm seeing it. Like, this is like the only way that Denji can even think about experiencing pleasure right now, and Asa is like, how the fuck? Because she just doesn't understand boys. She doesn't understand men. Either.
I do like how realistically uncomfortable the situation is getting, though. With like,
it's awesome.
This is what makes Fujimoto such a good fucking writer, is how raw he will write situations. Also, man, we have
some of those.
That moment, and then we have Condom Girl.
Yeah, Condom Girl, rest in peace.
Hysterical.
And their shower massages.
Also, I just want to bring up how funny. I don't think that brothels are like legal in Japan, but like at least not like in an above the board way. The fact that it's literally called Condom Girl is hysterical. It's like they're not even trying to hide it.
Yeah, I mean, maybe it was different in early 2000s or 99 Japan. I don't know.
Also, man, like, I didn't see the resemblance at first, because, like, they claim to be sisters. That looks like Makima peeking up over his shoulder there. Like, Fami? Like, she looks like Makima there.
And we get dramatic rain.
It's never just rain or snow. It always means something.
Yeah, it's literally like Denji just like basically breaking down, and I kind of love this moment.
It was that last like chance of like, okay, the world is terrible, but at least I can experience like one bit of pleasure. Oh, ripped again. Like, just everything is just taken away from him before he can have it. And this is like hilarious. Like, it's great. Like we were saying, how like raw and uncomfortable this is. But it's funny at the same time. Like Fujimoto does this hilarious thing where he makes these incredible scenes that punch you in the gut, but then also are extremely relatable. Like the point where Denji's saying like I'm just always thinking with my dick, and it's not something that he can control. Like, it literally, it's so fucking real. This is such a real fucking experience.
Is a kid who grew up with nothing. He has no formal education. I don't know how he got into high school outside of like Kishibe like bribing people, and like he just goes off of his raw emotions. That's how he's lived for most of his life. And while that sounds like, when it's a lot of stimuli coming in, like at the like beginning of part 1, it sounds like a really like pleasant time because he's just going off of what he likes. Like the way Denji talks is very like wild animal, like like when he fights Katana Man for the first time, he's like, "Oh, you guys are bad guys. No one gives a shit when I cut up bad guys." So this is the great thing. But like now we're seeing like the real negative side effects of that. Like Denji doesn't have impulse control. he's very quick to the jump, and we've kind of seen that back with Fumiko, where she's like, go lick that thing over there, and like he imagined a scenario where he had impulse control and was the bigger man but still did it.
I mean, we saw with his school life where any kind of money he would let people sit on him and like all that stuff. Like he's just known as the guy who do anything for money still.
Yeah, like it's such a great little moment, especially with like how uncomfortable the situation is, because like, man, Denji is so fucking good.
You know what's also very funny as he's breakdown, just a normal civilian walking away.
I was thinking that
this
too.
Man, like...
Yeah, I was looking at that guy too. Like, he's literally just. Could you imagine hearing this conversation?
I also didn't notice Fabi's just like not even like facing him. Her back is towards Denji still.
If all Fami's thinking about right now is where's the sushi.
She's like, I was promised sushi. And then I love how it swaps over to Yoru. And Yoru says, your pecker's the problem? Let's go cut it off.
Give him the old dick twist.
Hilarious. It's so fucking interesting that like Yoru steps in at this moment and offers like a solution. It's so fucking... It's so interesting. I'm so unpredictable. These characters are so unpredictable.
It could be like the second time in a few days where his dick was like cut off. Cause they had Chainsaw Man's dick in their hands at one point.
They did. Presumably that was just to foreshadow this moment.
Just to foreshadow. So yeah, they go into the alleyway and...
Also, literally Yoru just says, I found this knife on the ground, which is not true. But it's hilarious to think that is a thing that could happen. It appears that he or she, I always think of Yoru as a he. It appears that Yoru just takes like a straw or something off the ground. I'm guessing uses their power.
It looked like a straw.
Turn it into a knife.
Yeah, it looked like a straw.
Also, straw, another dick-shaped instrument.
But she was the kind of thing like, oh, you want me to whip out my dick? You want to see my dick? Like, like he's getting like, oh, she wants to cut off your dick, but she also wants you to whip it out. It's also just like both of those thoughts are just hitting him at the same time. He's getting comboed.
Yeah, it's like this great mixture of like the jokiness and the seriousness kind of like hitting him at the same time.
This is like the sweatiest like manga panels I've ever also seen in like any manga. Everybody just sweating profusely in this.
I think that's just because it's raining. Like
that too.
They're getting out of the rain.
You could also see it as like them sweating. Though.
Yeah, definitely.
Definitely at a certain point. Yeah.
I feel like he wanted to just draw them more as like just wet as hell.
So what Yoru really wants here is just like, this is an obstacle preventing me from fighting Chainsaw Man. Chainsaw Man is so obsessed with his life right now. If I just cut his dick off, then what the fuck?
Crush your balls is he gets out his one arm, crush his balls.
This is the problem though. Yoru should not have done this.
Yeah, she got the Akira.
The balls. So okay, I'm curious as to what you guys think about this. So, what is it? Page 8. Yoru, after Yoru is grabbing Denji's balls, I'm assuming that Yoru gets kind of like a flash, like a fantasy of kissing Denji. That's the way I'm interpreting it.
That's the kiss from back at the
movie date.
Yeah, the movie date.
Oh, okay.
She's getting her flush of memories back, which is something that's technically tied to the control double, where
it's also...
strong emotions can cause a.
Oh yeah, they were locked away, and maybe something with like Nayuta being like KO'd or killed, like it assumes like that things got freed up. Maybe
I don't because someone suggested that at one point that the fact that her memories are coming back is an implication about Nayuta's fate, but I don't want to talk about that. I don't want to think about that factor, but we do know that it isn't a hard confirm, but it's certainly close to a smoking gun. But we do know that strong emotions are enough to overwrite Control Devil's influence. It happened with Power. It happened with Angel.
Yeah.
So it's not impossible, but certainly not a good sign for things to come.
This is Fujimoto's Spider-Man 1 rain kiss scene if you had control.
And then they do kiss. They do actually kiss, and then they go back in for more, and then they go back in for more.
It looks like Yoru goes in for the second kiss, while that one arm is still... It's so funny, she has just one arm in this, and it's like...
It's totally occupied. It's completely occupied.
Yeah.
Yeah, like, some people were saying that this was, like, she turns back into Asa at the last second, but that's actually confirmed not to be the case. It's just Fujimoto forgot her scars again, because
the eyes are there.
yeah, the eyes are there, and we see that she doesn't
Yeah.
turn back into Asa until afterwards. But like, there is a clear. Now, I will say, like, the scars at the very end disappearing could be more symbolic of the fact that they're having, like, her and Asa are having...
They're blending.
Overlining thought patterns about Denji, because she clearly did this because she liked it.
Definitely, yeah.
Yeah. It's oh my god, the faces he drew for these are like insane. Like it's not like a normal kiss where they look so pretty and beautiful moment. It is like making out like this can't be like ugly.
Yeah,
an
and
ugly
Denji's
situation.
literally like vinegar strokes. Like, he's fucking like making coon faces. And then, yeah, the final shot. This was like fucking everywhere.
Yeah,
you
this was
could not get away from
It
this
was
on
so
Twitter.
funny. People like, I can't believe Chainsaw Man did this. I give up. I quit. Like,
Yeah.
Fujimoto went too far. I'm like, people haven't read Fire Punch.
I mean, this is just end of Eva. Like,
So
Yeah, I
so-
know. That's like, I mean, that's the obvious comparison, but yeah, it's a shot of you're looking down at her hand.
So
I'm
full of,
my favorite thing to come out of this was
semen.
somebody went to their bookshelf, threw away all their Chainsaw Man, and just replaced it with JoJo. Who do they not read part 1 or part 7? Like, of many things like this that happen.
Guy who's okay with babyface, but
Part
not...
3, strength, and in general in part 3.
Yeah.
I think the other really interesting detail brought up by this kissing scene was, I went back and I looked into it, mainly because, like, I was like, wow, his eyes are open. Like, that's usually not, like, a side, like, because usually, like, when you show, like, a romantic kiss between two characters, like, both their eyes are closed or one of their eyes is closed, and, like,
Yeah.
having your eyes open during a kiss in a romance is, like, usually a sign that you're not into it. Like, you're not, like, enjoying the moment. You're more, like, you're sort of shocked. Denji has never kissed a character in this series with his eyes closed.
Really?
Himeno, his eyes are open when she vomits into his mouth. Reze, his eyes are open because she catches him off guard and then bites his tongue off. And with Asa and Yoru here, like, his eyes are open when she surprise kisses him, and his eyes are still open this entire kiss all the way through. Like, he has had the most unfortunate luck with women, and I feel like, well, our sign that Denji has truly found like a pleasant kiss in his life will probably be with his eyes closed, if I'm gonna go with like general symbolism of things.
I mean, every kiss has led to like terrible things for the most part. So
And it's true, this kiss ain't much different.
this was a kiss hand job combo. So like, he had a lot going on. I just love it. Like, your response is just gross, and it like washes off in a puddle.
Yeah,
But
She needs to get another arm. I don't like that she still only has one arm when she can just turn things into like a fake arm.
I'm waiting to be like Kid in One Piece where it just had like a metal arm. Like,
Please no, that's so stupid.
Or Nero's arm from Devil May Cry.
yeah.
No.
She find her own Nico just to like give her a double breaker. That'd be too cool though.
Also, I love the fucking line Yuri says, "I only kissed you because it felt good." That feels like such a fucking
Don't
Yuri
get
line.
cocky. It's very funny to me too.
I do like that she answered his question and then he asked the question. She anticipated, knew what he was going to ask. He still asked anyways.
Yeah.
And she gives him another kiss too. It's like, he's like, I don't like you. It's very funny. She said the other me likes you. Like, doesn't mean anything to Denji because he just doesn't know what that means.
Yeah, absolutely no context for
And
what's
talking
happening.
about Yoru's lying, I don't believe her one fucking second that
I
she
said-
doesn't like Denji.
Denji doesn't know,
Yeah.
does not understand that situation at all. He gets like details, but he's too stupid
Yeah,
to even like.
Yeah, he's very out of the loop. He still doesn't know about Asa Yoru, so from his perspective, she's just crazy and keeps doing this.
Like, you just grow scars and you're very mean to me, and then you say.
And then you apologize. I don't get it.
She's giving him a whole new complex. He's gonna have a fucking like yandere complex developed from this.
I also like when she does look at his lips, like, it's not even really an appealing, like, look. Like, he looks dehydrated, and he probably is.
I mean, the
Yeah.
rain stops, so like.
Who knows if he even took a shower after they reassembled his body? Probably not.
They didn't wash his parts off. He was just sitting there stewing for the days when he was gonna wake up. Uh,
This is incredible.
my favorite
What
scene.
Yuri says is she basically she's saying that like Asa's feelings flowed into her, which I really fucking love this like dynamic. I really love when I'm reading a story like this and they bring in these ideas like they have this like symbiotic relationship almost to the point where
This
they're
is Venom.
becoming like the same person.
This is
almost.
Venom and Eddie. Let's like bickering at each other, beating each other up.
It'd be funny if Venom jerks a guy off.
Venom
That'd be
3,
awesome
man,
if
the
they
last
do that in
dance.
Venom 3. The last dance. It ends with a jerk off.
It happens before or after the horse scene, the Venom horse.
And it's funny that like, that Yuri just tries to be like, all right, let's go get sushi. Like Denji's just stun locked. He doesn't even know what fucking happened.
I'm hungry.
And then I just fucking love these chapters. These chapters are so good. Like the scene where Asa appears behind Yuru as Yuru keeps walking and then just starts attacking herself.
I wish Denji could have like just looked up and just saw Yoru and Asa fighting each other, like fighting themselves, like the SpongeBob, like Patrick beating himself up kind of scene, where like.
So I think how it was explained earlier was that anytime that like Yuru was, or anytime Asa felt fear, like she would take back control. From
it forces
Yoru,
Yoru out of her body, like completely. She can't get back in. But I think Asa can take back control manually. It's just fear is the thing that Yoru just can't get past. Like she can't quick change from that.
And also, I think in this one, Asa just really wanted to have Yoru feel this hit. Just like,
well, yeah, that's like what I'm thinking here is like it feels like Asa is also kind of gaining more control in this relationship where she's able to like wrest control back. I just can't recall any other times where she wrests control away from Yuru so easily, but maybe I'm just misremembering.
And then see that he'll think I'm a slut now, but wasn't this like a thing that people were like kept trying to find like the proper translation or something in that?
She uses
like,
it. I mean, I personally think that the translation is fine. I think it gets across the idea.
Yeah.
I wasn't confused, and when people tried to explain how they didn't get it across, I kind of got what it was going for, because she's not. This is like 1997, like, or 1998, 1997. Technically, it's 1999. Yeah. So
yeah,
like she isn't using it in like a. She's using it in a negative context, but explicitly using it in a way that she wouldn't even fully believe it. Sorry, my dog is being really loud, and I might have to go let them out for a second.
That's fine.
You're fine.
But she is using it in a way that she may not even really be intending or realizing how negatively it is. She is being actively negative to herself while creating a negative stereotype that she herself may not fully believe because of her emotional distress. Calling herself a slut feels like he'll think I'm a slut, meaning that she thinks that being a slut is negative, while then calling Yoru a slut, well, not realizing that it's a very powerful scene because of how much she sort of blames herself while also blaming another person while not being able to, because like Yoru is still part of herself. It's a very solid representation of how some victims of certain situations like this tend to view themselves afterwards.
Yeah, I kind of got that vibe as well. Like, I mean, I don't know. I guess I'm a little disconnected with some of the discourse online. From what I'm seeing, I guess the word translates more directly to female monster, which like I don't know. I feel like sometimes with localization, you have to make some compromises, and for the readability, just based on like everything Mehdi said, I totally agree with. Going by like the readability of this, like taking this one fucking panel, I think the word slut is fine here.
Yeah.
I don't know. People are a little too a little too weird about manga localization lately.
I mean, people had issues with
it.
Jujutsu Kaisen translations, I think, somewhat recently, where like they were just like not good at explaining stuff, or what I've heard.
I'm back.
Where
with Visit's translation, some people have had a lot of issues with it. I think the word used is like a specific Japanese term, which means like man, like woman whore or something, and like the way it's written kind of gets across the similar idea to what I think the word like slut tends to signify in English, at least around that time period, but may not have that same connotation or that same power as the word that was like used in Japanese. It's one of those situations where it kind of just depends on your perspective on how translation works and your ability to read a scene. How much is the text vital to your reading of a scene versus how much can you kind of pick up the details from what characters are saying and acting?
Yeah, and also something. Yeah, what I saw was it was like female monster is essentially like the kind of term, I guess, if you were to directly translate it. But at the same time, it's like I feel like everything you said gets as a reader, as a native English reader, this word means more to me than if they were to write whatever like what you said, or it makes more sense contextually, and it makes it read easier. I don't know. I have no issues with this.
Yeah, I had no issues with it either. I kind of got what she was putting
It was just one
down.
of those things. When that chapter came out, everybody was just talking about that line.
Yeah,
And they should have been talking about
the next page with my favorite
Yeah.
reaction. With both Asa and Denji mouth agape sitting far apart from each other.
It's like the one night stand kind of thing where you wake up, you're like, what? No.
the true
Kind
post
of
nut
just like
clarity.
we're both fucked. Yeah, both had both nut clarity.
But so they end up going to a place called Sushi Shishi.
Death by Sushi.
Sushi Hishi. So is Death by Sushi? I'm wondering if that's like a translation of.
Oh yeah, no, she is death. It's 4.
Yeah, that's kind of what I figured.
And Katana
so-
Man is here for like when they enter.
Yeah, I think they're all still here, right? So yeah, they go.
Nailfiend's not with them, but like Katana Man like was with them, but at one point they say he left to go back to the hideout.
Yeah, to go protect the
Oh,
hideout.
okay.
I don't think Katana Man actually enters with them because I don't.
He's there. No,
Is-
he is there.
Oh yeah, he
And-
is.
and-
He's in the background.
Yeah. So that's kind of weird, but yeah,
I love
conveyor
these
belt
like
sushi.
little random bit characters that Fujimoto will do. The little like host at the sushi place.
if there's just a guy with sushi. I would assume his shirt just says sushi on it.
Damn, they're
Yeah.
giving away Toonie Festival Deluxe Fatty Tuna for only 90 yen.
That's
Shit,
fucking crazy.
Damn.
that's crazy, man.
I only had sushi like once when I was in Japan last year.
I had conveyor
and,
belt sushi when I went in Japan.
and it was fine. I think I went to a bad place for it, but damn, like it was kind of expensive as you'd expect sushi to be.
I don't think it was that crazy. Conveyor belt wasn't that bad for me when I had sushi.
I
in
guess I
Japan.
just
Remember
can't
how
get my
much-
head wrapped around it because sushi sounds like the least appealing food in the world to me.
Oh really? Do you
Oh, I
not? You're not a
love it.
fan?
And then if it like cold like fish, like I'm already not big enough fish. I mean, like I don't really like eating. That's the problem. Is like,
Oh, interesting.
so like it just sounds like a very unappetizing thing. But I see it often represented as like a nice snack food or like a very luxurious snack food, depending on like the time period. So like. I have to assume it's nice. That's kind of my approach whenever like characters talk about eating at a work. Like I kind of get it, but like I just have to assume like that tasted really good or that's a really good thing because like it doesn't register for me like that.
Interesting. I do love how there is like 400 million conveyor belts at this place. It's really funny
Yep.
imagery.
The one I went to was in like it was
Who's
one
getting the
conveyor belt.
top
going
shelf? Because that's got missing sushi on it.
I don't know
Some
how this
bastard.
works or like why they even have the top shelf. Even the
There's
conveyor belt
a-
sushi place I went to like in the US are just like one conveyor belt and then the second one on top just for your custom orders.
Well, I think how the conveyor belts work. So, well, there's one that Sam and I went to in Philly, and it seems to me that there's probably a lot of separate conveyor belts. It's not just like one giant long one, because then
Yeah,
you'd have
there's
like
like
food
one
sitting
giant
too
one
long.
that's like grab if you see it, and then there's the one if you go to the touch screen and order something specific, it'll shoot you on the top
Well, no,
one
what,
person.
what
one,
I'm
but-
saying, and I have no way to prove this, but I think that like all of the like long ones are actually like shorter. Like I don't think that like this. I don't think this is just one giant conveyor belt. I think that it's like several conveyor belts so that the food isn't just sitting there for like 45 minutes. Because I'm sure with fish, especially raw fish, there's probably regulations about how long it can stand
Well, there's
before
also
being eaten. But
Reg
then yeah,
99
there is a
regulation,
second
Jim.
one. Well, yeah, I mean, still, you got to make sure people don't get sick when you eat the food.
In 99, everybody's smoking indoors here, and like all the sushi probably had like that smell of smoke.
Oh, I love that nice tobacco.
Yeah, put that cigarette out on the sushi and send it out. It's a fucking flavoring.
Denji would eat it.
Uh.
He probably did eat it at one point. But you kind of get the Denji inner monologue in there about, literally about like you got
This is the funniest. This
Yeah.
is the funniest, most relatable thing in the whole world.
the post nut clarity monologue, I guess.
Literally, just being. This is like so fucking relatable, actually. Like, so he's literally thinking about like, has everyone here had like someone's like fucking semen in their hands, and then he literally looks at like a guy making sushi barehanded. Like that is the most like relatable feeling in the world. Because anytime I think about like food preparation, I'm like, damn, what have these people done with their hands? Like they had presumably they've like wiped their butt today at least. That's like
you go to
pretty
Waffle
gross
House
already.
and you just pray.
But then yeah, that's kind of like, I don't know, it's also like a way of Denji kind of relating to people in a strange way where he's like, is this like normal, like is this what being normal's like?
I like it's like it wasn't physically, it wasn't that good, wasn't good when I do it, but like made my heart
also
feel great.
fucking hilarious and relatable to say these things. Like Denji is just fucking the most relatable character in all fiction.
He doesn't understand his feeling because new thing happened to him and he doesn't know how it makes him feel. He just like he is literally stun locked.
Yeah. Also, he's kind of still like processing like it's everything.
Also, Fanny
back
just
with
stuffing her
this.
face in between them. It's so funny.
Hey, she is fucking thriving at an all-you-can-eat conveyor belt.
I mean, we get the famous family
Actually,
quote
it's not
of
all you can eat,
"ha
but-
ho ho hee hee hua hua hi."
She's just such a big fan of Jack.
Jack Frost.
Jack Frost. Yeah, thank you.
I haven't gone and looked for like the Japanese raw of this to see if like it's at all distinguishable what she's saying, because like I can't comprehend a fucking word coming out of her mouth.
Okay, so Katana is just with them. It's just, I guess, is it the eye patch guy and Nail Fiend are hanging out in that side adventure? I guess.
Yeah, they're protecting the base.
I need that spin-off of just what what they could possibly be up to and how and what they could possibly be discussing together.
Fucking Nail Fiend and literally Agni from Fire Punch are up.
I'm thinking of like a 90s sitcom like opening happening with those two. Oh man.
Also, Denji literally doesn't even know if he's happy right now.
I said he is
literally,
stun-locked.
Yeah,
He
He literally does not know
he
how
has
he's
been
supposed to
completely
feel.
overstimulated with like negativity.
He's in a glass box of emotion.
It's crazy. The last thing like because he went into like a slight like coma. I think it was like 2 weeks after after freaking out and being Chainsaw Man, and then defeating the. Actually, I don't know. Like he ate a good chunk of them. They might be dead, but eating a good chunk of the weapon fiends or weapon hybrids, and like the death of his family. So like from his perspective, like his whole life got destroyed. His sister is missing. These weird people keep abusing him. He's been climax, and now he's in front of a conveyor belt of food, and he still doesn't know where his sister is. This is just like, it is torture almost. Like he's being given positive stimuli and then a severe negative stimuli. Like it's
he has a whole whirlpool of emotions right now that he's like cannot even like. Even a normal person wouldn't be able to, how to do this. And him, a man who's just so inexperienced to the real world, like...
He is also
and to
surrounded
even, like...
by so many people indifferent to his... Like, Asa is like, I'm gonna save Denji, but she is sort of like... It almost feels like she has a hero complex in what she's doing with him. I think that she does like him, because, like, she liked Chainsaw Man, and... her and Yoru sort of seem to have a sort of connection. She cared that he might think that she's a slut, so she clearly cares about him. But I feel like she might be having a savior complex with him that.
Well, she wanted to save him for saving her, so like that's like her motivation for the most earlier at least.
But like Fami clearly doesn't give a fuck about Denji.
No.
Like.
Well, none of these not even the people in the Chainsaw Man Club really care about Denji at all.
Yeah,
they just find
his
him like
own
all
fan
weird.
club are just kind of here, and they didn't even back him up when he talked about like what guys need.
His church fucked him over. Like the club kind of fucked him over. Like, he didn't really have a real friend in the school either. Like also like the closest thing to like a companion.
Hey, he had Yoshida.
he was more like modern babysitter.
And like Katana Man wants him dead. And
well, they might become bro. They might like iron this out at one point.
Yeah, you know what? They might figure it out. Maybe Asa will convince him. He is Asa's biggest fan. But speaking of motherfuckers who he doesn't like.
Well, bro, Benny talks about like how weird like Asa is for like losing an arm and not really seem to care. But I kind of love, we kind of should discuss this thing. I also love them saying, like, I don't know who's getting the bill. so I'm not gonna eat. Which I respect that as the smartest person in this manga.
That's the most Kobeni thing. Because if you remember,
It's
she
true,
said the
though, with
best
Fami.
food is food paid for by someone else.
And I don't trust Fami at all. But yeah, then we kind of get the big reveal of like I want to call them like the main
Baron.
villain of this part two.
He's
of...
close to the main villain so far. He's at least he's at least been the arc villain for the last 2 arcs.
Mm-hmm.
He's the character I've hated the most out of everybody. Like, fuck this guy.
He is a very hateable character, but
his
he
face
also
is hateable?
gets the ball rolling. And,
yeah, but Denji just like he makes a shiv. Denji makes a shiv to try to stab him in the fucking neck.
Barum,
it's on site. It's fucking on site with him.
Barum is
great.
Like his expressions are great. I love the fucking oh yeah, and devils aren't supposed to feel sadness either, are they? Like he feels annoyed by the idea of being a devil. Like he's annoyed at Denji being sad. Like he's annoyed that like he's doing the thing that Makima did near the end of part 1 where she was like calling you're not Chainsaw Man. Chainsaw Man doesn't talk. Chainsaw Man doesn't spit. He kills and he like does all this stuff. You can't be Chainsaw Man. Like he clearly has his issues and he doesn't refer to Denji by Denji. He calls him either the same thing that Makima did, which was like calls him a dog like by dog terms, or he calls him Chainsaw Man. Like he doesn't view Denji the same way Makima doesn't view Denji. But where Makima did it, it was Denji had a relation he kind of liked Makima. He fucking hates this guy, and he's acting the same. But
this is probably the most like pure anger I've seen like a Denji face drawn towards any person. Like it is like murderous intent in a panel. Like his face, I love it.
And all of that emotion, all of this like reaction to Barum has covered up the fact that a character said something awfully fucking suspicious here, and it has led to a long series of theories. What do you mean Bro Benny doesn't know who Barum is? The leader of the cult that he met in person. Because if you remember back in the Chainsaw Man cult introduction, Barum is the one who shows up and tells Bro Benny to end the tour, and he runs off. They have to have met. Yet here he is going, who's Briam? Another detail about him that's been missing, he hasn't had his hair clipped since we found him in the fucking prison.
Who are you? Been replaced.
There are some people who believe that that Bro Betty is sort of a like hidden threat. Either
death. Some
people have said death, which is really funny, but just some sort of devil, some sort of replacement, some sort of agent who is like kind of given up on his role. Maybe he's like, maybe he's just like his sister and is really fucking talented, but just blew his cover here. I'm curious if this will get brought up because there's no reason for him not to know Barum.
Yeah, that's interesting. I thought what you were gonna say was the line that what's his face Barum says about Asa, like connecting animals don't get sad when they lose a limb, they just adapt. So implying that he seems to know that there's more to Asa than it seems like he knows about Yoruba in some way.
I assume he has to because he's been working with Fami and she was part of the Chainsaw Man cult.
Yeah, it feels like there's like a need to know kind of thing. Because obviously it's not like public knowledge, but I don't know.
So, honestly, I don't believe that the public safety is out front and surrounded the building at all. Like, I do not believe that one bit.
So yeah, the big thing here is like Barum, but to stop Denji from attacking, says that he'll take him to Nayuta.
But like, if you save us, I'll let you see Nayuta. And he just reveals her immediately. So he already lied because he doesn't need to be saved. He just brought him there to like trigger him.
It's true. He did. I'll show you Nayuta. He didn't say I'll show you her alive.
God.
Also, what the fuck is with the egg sushi?
What about it?
Like,
I think that's
why?
I think that's a normal thing.
It is, but like, why is there so much focus on it? Like, why is he saying like first start with the like?
Because he's a weirdo.
Is he just being
cheeky?
Some
people have assumed that what he is being. I had made a post at one point detailing all the sushi that Denji ate. Have you ever heard the story of Tantalus? Uh, there are some people, I'm partly in the camp of it, that he is feeding Nayuta to Denji slowly through sushi.
Yeah, that's...
I don't know where the egg comes from. Like, I don't know what
But
part I've heard that you can turn into egg, but...
Ovaries.
I don't believe that because like you have to eat everything, and then he just puts the head there. Like, oh yeah, like, unhinge your jaw and then eat just shot. Eat the head.
Yeah, I don't think he's trying to erase her the same way, but I think that he is feeding. Like that's gonna break Denji. He's now because that would be sullying the last like token of love that he gave to Makima, which was eating her completely.
Mm-hmm.
So being force fed the person that he created from his act of love. Would not be a good sign. It's not going to be good for Barum. I don't think he's making it out of this one.
No, this is a little too evil.
Yeah, he needs to die. And yeah, he just force feeding Denji more and more sushi. He like, slaps the plates away. Like no one noticed him really until like Asa didn't notice that at all, and Bambi didn't seem to care.
So he gives him eggs. He gives him lean tuna, and squid.
You give him 3 rolls. That's not enough to eat a fucking small child, I guess.
But even if he ate like a bite of his baby daughter, he would be upset.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, and then he kind of gives his plan about like, public safety wants a little bit of your power. Like, I need the real Chainsaw Man that erases devils' names. And then he did. Go ahead.
Sorry. I just absolutely love the fucking reaction. Like, chainsaws don't have that power. They're tools for cutting down trees. Weird, right? Like, his face there, like, his turn, like, it's such a perfect face.
But
I also love this theory that, like, chainsaws could have been used for erasing other things, but we've forgotten that. Like, that has been erased from the record. Interesting.
Cutting down trees was the only thing that remained.
I do like that some people are bringing up like Chainsaw's actual like creative purpose and then tying it back into Chainsaw Man in a way because they're now calling like attention to it. And that's like because chainsaws were originally created for childbirth, like to help.
That's right, yeah.
And
Jesus
one
Christ.
thing that we know about all devils who die and are reborn is they all hear a distinct sound, which is the revving of a chainsaw, which is tied in some way to birthing because they are being reborn.
Yeah, that's why I was focusing so much on the egg. The fact that he begins with the egg, because like obviously egg is like symbol for rebirth, or like but yeah,
Maybe he's
also horrifying.
Because I feel like he's like working the way up because like egg sushi is like the basic kind of sushi you can get like. And then he kind of, at the end, the last one is like the Lux fatty tuna is kind of where he like ends. It kind of seems the price is going up more and more when each kind of like.
I think so. Yeah, I think it's getting more and more expensive. Because
Mm-hmm.
the final one was like the only 90 yen, but that was like more expensive than most of the other things on the wall in like the previous chapter.
And then the head.
So yeah, it's crazy. He like calls the guy to send it down. So he asked the chef to send fucking Nayuta's head. Oh, this is like the most heart-wrenching fucking like a 2-page spread.
This hurt. Like this hurt a lot. Like I don't normally like get real like because like I've read Fujimoto's earlier stuff. I've read Fire Punch. I've read a bunch of his one-shots. I read they get weird and he can get dark, but they tend to be like understandably dark. This still hurts. This still hurts a lot. And it's a full page spread of nothing but food and then just the head of a character who people were waiting for, who is beloved in a sense.
Well, maybe she made a deal with one of her like classmates where if she dies, one of them will die in her place for like a juice box or something. I don't know.
And Barum's smug fucking face on page 14 as the head is coming by.
He's such a cunt.
Oh, he's such a fucker.
Piece of
I mean,
slick back hair.
The elephant in the room. So like we know that Makima, we technically could see Makima die, but she wasn't actually dead. You know that kind of like
it
what
was
Sam mentioned about having the
deal she made with the prime minister.
Yeah, so technically, I mean, I'm not trying to like be like, oh, she's still alive. There are ways she still could be alive, but I know Fujimoto, like he will do shit like this. Like
Lollipop chainsaw style was Nayuta's head on the side of Denji.
Because like I'm not even fully sure if she can come back. Because like that was Makima's deal, and then Makima got eaten, and a new devil appeared, which honestly, that's another thing. There's something very funny about, like, Makima dies, and then weeks later, another devil appears who's the control devil, and I think she appeared in China, and that's where Kishibe goes and gets her. But, like, that means that probably the Darkness Devil, after that shit she pulled in, like, the International Assassin's arc, was spawn camping the control devil's respawn in hell, so that he can jump her right away.
And so like, would that mean like they're just that set back the plan? Are they always a kid they come back as? I'm assuming.
I'm assuming they just come back like in a general shape because like
but then again,
Angel kind of just fell to Earth like as Angel.
But you mean, but these are like I feel like the four horsemen devils are kind of like a different tier as we've seen. Like, are they always come back as children? Because War is like weak, and that's why she came back as like a Mothman from SMT.
Yeah, War was weakened. She was only like part of herself because Chainsaw Man ate like all the awful.
But when you have power like Fami and I guess Makima, like do they come back as children right away? And then like did somebody find Fami and then raise her, or like is Fami just like I don't know. I don't know like the lore of like how these kind of devils work.
Yeah, and the beauty is we don't know.
Yeah.
In fact, like
it's kind of like with the contract stuff, we don't know how it works.
I wonder if Nayuta like appearing here is like appearing in China was confirmation that Makima was another primal fear. Because primal fears are determined by not only the fears that are like primal and inherently like built into our nature, but they're also devils who have never seen death. So if Makima left hell, then that doesn't mean she died. But that means that she was born in hell, and we know that the cycle is born in hell, die, go to Earth, reborn on Earth, die, go back to hell, or reset indefinitely. Meaning that it's possible that Makima never died to go to Earth, but when she died on Earth, she just immediately respawned on Earth.
But why are they all like human? Because like,
well, I mean, they're all human because we're human. Like, why are all
other
primordials aliens fucking human?
Yeah, but I think primordials are all like the primal fears are always like weird creatures. Like we saw with Falling and Darkness, where they're just like
they were, but they weren't. They were presumably still in hell though, right? Like we were seeing like
Falling. Yeah, Falling took on a much more human appearance when she appeared.
Or because they're horsemen, this is what, I guess they'd be closer to human, I guess. I don't know. This one went to freaking grade school, man. Like, all they do is have weird eyes.
It's true,
like,
the last thing she did was steal some kid's pudding, and now look where she is.
Yeah, this is what she gets.
Like, they don't have, like a devil form, like a hybrid weapon form. Like, they're just, like, humans with power, whereas Makima just had chains shoot out of her. Like,
and she had finger guns.
Fami has like weird like tiki idol, like dried up idols of devils. Like it's all we've seen for what she can do. And War is just weird because
War can turn anything she wants into a weapon.
Or I guess the more powerful your primordial thing is just the more human appearance you take on. I guess.
So like going back to like what is.
Oh, I know.
What?
Asa was sitting to the. I was about to say, where was Denji sitting before this? Because I see Asa standing up, but like, no, okay.
Wait,
she was. She was one over. She was to the left of Fami, so.
And Denji had to change his seat when he saw him because he said, "I was like, Papa squat."
For a second, I was like, did Denji's seat vanish?
He also probably flipped that chair too, but.
But so I have to think, like, what is Barham's plan here? Like, so...
His plan is just to make him as unhappy as possible.
Oh, yeah,
That's literally his plan.
Doing the exact same thing that Makima did. She's...
Despair, Jim. You heard it plenty of times in plenty of media.
This is
always
Barham's
despair.
Shooting power moment.
But, like, he's fucked. Like, there's no way that he's gonna be fucked. Like, it's just crazy.
I wonder, like, how fucked he really thinks he is. Because he's fought Black Chainsaw Man before. And he came out
he lost.
I mean, but he came out the other end.
I mean, they can't. the hybrids can't die, like
unless they're eaten completely.
Yeah, and
Though,
unless Denji's gonna
technically, I'm not sure because Makima mentions
really
that weapons, the fusion of human and devil have been erased from time, and but the weapons remain, meaning that it's possible that Puchita's tried to erase weapons in the past, but they stayed around. So maybe he might be immortal in the same sense, but he's gonna be put through the fucking ringer.
Unless he literally removes his heart and just eats the friggin' hybrid heart or something like that. That's the only thing I can.
So I just don't think Denji's going home after this one, guys. I think something bad's gonna happen.
Really?
Yeah, I think something's bad's gonna
Rize
happen
will-
next chapter.
Oh my god,
Is
that's,
it
that's
this week?
Rize's head.
It's so funny. All his exes' heads.
A chain of heads just start going.
And
How'd they
No
get
More
him out of
Heroes
his head?
fucking 2's like final boss, like
Oh God. All your friends and your family.
So when do we get a new chapter? Is it this week?
next week. It's a 2-week break.
Damn it! Ugh!
They should get Suda51 to do a Chainsaw Man game.
You have no idea. Don't fucking tease me with that. That's the greatest fucking
Like Lollipop Chainsaw or Lollipop Chainsaw with Chainsaw Man with Nayuta's head talking to him.
But yeah, no, this has been fantastic. This is like there's been like ups and downs with Chainsaw Man. Some people were like not sure. Like Barham appears, and when he does, he fucking adrenaline shots you in the heart, and it hurts.
Mm-hmm.
But there's just something very beautiful and tragic about this chapter releasing, I think, the same day as Look Back did in theaters. So you just have Fujimoto, like one of the most wonderful pieces of like artistic expression Fujimoto has ever made, and then Dead Child.
Dude,
But you know
Kojima
what?
will not stop talking about.
I know, right?
Look.
he went and saw it again, and he was upset that he couldn't get a pamphlet, so he bought a folder instead.
This is the most. He talks about it more than he did with Furiosa so far. It feels.
I really wish
And he
I could
loves
get to
Mad
see
Max.
that, because they're having limited screenings in America, and I really want to get into one of those. But
Oh shit, are they?
Yeah.
They're good. I heard there's supposed to be like, as of this the day of this recording, like tonight is supposed to be like possible info about it.
yeah, I know there's at least one in New York City that is already all bought up. Like,
Well,
Well, I
Jim-
don't want to get in New York
I said,
City.
Jim, we're only doing New York City just to go see Attack on Titan on the musical, so
Yeah.
we're not going to New York to see. Look,
If there's one near me, then I'll go see it. Like I'll drive into Philly maybe, but like I'm not going to New York.
Yeah. that very very crazy chapters. I said we got hit with the bi-weekly devil again.
Yeah,
So
Fujimoto knew exactly the
The
right
bi-weekly
chapter to
devil.
take a 2-week break on to make everyone
Yeah.
hurt the most.
You know, he just went and fucking kicked his feet up and made a nice little drink for
I saw
himself.
there was
and just
a
enjoyed.
person I follow who like it's that like gif of the girl on her phone, and she's like kicking her feet and like rolling around on the bed, and she's just having a great time. It's like Fujimoto every time he posts a chapter the last few weeks.
oh my god, crazy.
Yeah, apparently the movie did really well in Japan, so I'm sure
Yeah.
that we'll probably get a.
It looks
what's it
beautiful.
called?
It does.
Who normally does those big releases? Fathom Events will probably.
It
Pick
did
up.
good enough that they've already, I believe, announced a Goodbye Airy a movie as well.
God,
Damn.
Get
Is it
all
like
his-
full? Is it full like feature length or is it?
I think
just
it's only
like
like 50
a-
minutes.
Okay, that makes more sense.
That's
I was gonna
perfect.
say
I'm
it'd be really awkward if they made like a feature length with just that story. They would
Ah.
have to add so much, I think.
That's actually like perfect though.
Hell yeah!
All
right.
You wrap it up?
Yeah. Do we have anything else we want to talk about?
Can I get this
as
head to
regarding these
go? Like,
chapters?
wrap it up.
Can you get a box?
Oh, poor boy, Denji. Sad Denji boy.
Who's the chef that sent this? As we cut to the falling devil in the kitchen.
She's cooking. I want to reread the Falling Devil chapters. They were so fucking awesome.
They're very good.
Oh, I guess I'll just watch your new video also too.
All right. I guess Jim, you want to start off with the root beer talk?
All right, we're entering root beer talk. This is the part where we talk about things that aren't Chainsaw Man.
First
I
off, we
wanna
are
ta-
saving Elden Ring talk till the JOKAKAKA episode because Jim is not done yet.
Yeah, I haven't. I'm probably like more than halfway into it, probably.
I streamed my
Um,
entire thing of it. If you want to see me
Oh,
fall
did
to
you? Oh, I didn't
despair,
know
it's
that.
on there. You want to see my hopes and dreams leave me and give up to despair, it's there.
Zetsubo, sad. No, for mine, I'm going to talk about Hot D, House of the Dragon. Game of Thrones is back, baby, and
Oh,
it's
nice.
in dragon form. Uh,
In Pog form.
the new season has been airing the past few weeks. I just caught up to, I think, episode 3. There's an episode coming out tonight. I'm very excited.
Nice.
It's good. It's really good, and I'm just like, I'm still kind of waiting for the other shoe to drop for it to get bad, because like Game of Thrones, the TV show got bad. Not like early on, but like once it ran out of material, it really like struggled. House of the Dragon is in a really weird situation where it's only adapting like 2 chapters out of like a book. So a lot of it is original, or a lot of it is taking like one sentence and turning that into like a miniature plot. Which has been working. I'm also trying to not spoil myself. I don't know how this conflict ends, because if you're not aware, this takes place like 300 years before the events of the main books, and it's written by George, but it's written in the form of like a sort of a history book. Oh yeah, George. You mean George? We go way back. George is from New Jersey, so we got that going for us.
Is he really?
Yeah, he's from Bayonne.
I was like, I didn't know you were joking or not.
No, he's actually from Bayonne. No, but it's set like 300 years in the past, and if you pay attention to like stuff in the books and even the Game of Thrones show, you could be spoiled by this technically, because it's just a historical event and the characters talk about history. But because they're taking not like a book, like directly what is a book, they're able to embellish a lot more and add a lot more character to people who only really are mentioned a few times, like in passing as like historical text. So it's great in terms of like it's giving actors a lot to do. Like the writing and acting is like they're really able to focus on so much more than you would get when you're just adapting like a TV show. Like they're able to play around more with the world. But at the same time, there are some things that I'm already starting to kind of roll my eyes at a little bit. Like, there is like a hilarious moment. I won't spoil anything, but there is a hilarious moment where a character misinterprets a prophecy because the names of the people are similar. and it literally, there's a moment where she's just like, oh, that Aegon? And it was just like, this feels like a fucking Marvel joke. Like, did I literally just mix up that Aegon with that other Aegon? But so that has me a little scared because it's a little silly and like that didn't need to be there. But overall, it's really good and it's really exciting. And we love the dragon. We love when the dragon's back. That's it. That's all I got to say.
All right. You want to go, Medi? I can go last if you want.
Yeah, sure, I'll go. June was a fucking packed month for me. I did a lot. If I had to nail it down to 2 things, I know it's like usually one thing, but 2 things. I played a lot of SMT5 Vengeance. When I was done with my first playthrough, I already had 100 hours in it, and I played it again real quick. And then afterwards, I'll probably be playing it again so I can go and finally finish the super boss. But
is that like a royal thing where there's like the base game but it has some new stuff and like some like quality of life changes, or like
it's a lot like the royal version of it where it has 2 routes that are pretty different, but a lot like the first route is basically the base game with some of the quality of life improvements added in by Vengeance versus the new Vengeance route, because they're called Canon of Creation and Canon of Vengeance. The Canon of Vengeance route is all of the new content, including the quality of life improvements. So you get just a better version of SMT5, and it's really fucking good. I already loved SMT5 a good bit. I used to I had a joke with a friend because we both played it, and when SMT5 first came out, I had a lot of complaints, but I played it 3 times in a row in fucking 1 week span. So I jokingly referred to SMT5 as peak mid, where it was it's really good. I clearly enjoyed it. I played it 3 times in a row, but it had a lot of problems. And then the entire time I was playing Vengeance, I was like, waiter, you forgot the mid with my peak. Because it was just a straight improvement. It's not the best game.
That's so funny.
But it's one of it shot up significantly in my opinion. And besides that, I watched I don't know what's more important. I watched Kamen Rider Dragon Knight, the Power Rangers Ryuki-styled Kamen Rider series.
I know about it's fascinating, and I actually have that kind of relates to what I'm going to be talking about video game wise, if you know anything about the Dragon Knight video game.
I know a little bit about it. But...
Okay, I'll go into it. I can talk about mine, because mine's related to that.
Okay.
Yeah, what else, Medi?
How is it? How is America's a second attempt at Kamen Rider?
A lot better than the first. The first is
Flurbus?
terrible. The first is one of the worst things ever created by man. Dragon Knight feels like a genuine product made by someone who wanted to tell an interesting story, but
it won an Emmy.
It won an Emmy for action coordination. But it did not win an Emmy for its story. But like there was,
It's hilariously 2000 looking.
it is very 2000-y. There are some. You get to watch an actor learn to act on screen. It's amazing. But my friend perfectly summarized it as a tale of good versus lost and confused. I have never seen a villain faction fumble more and be so uninformed about what's going on, yet maintain a threat within a story. It was wild. They have a character named Ubulon, who is the worst thing in the whole show.
Is it their Florbus from Kamen Rider Master?
He might as well be. He has a big... He's a normal guy. I believe the actor who plays him was originally going to be Red Ranger in the original Bioman pitch for Saban's Power Ranger. But, like, Ubulon might be the worst character I've ever seen in fiction, because the entire time he is stalking around like a villain, and then at the end he is just a good guy who cures asthma and fixes, like, the main character's dad. They also have a heart-wrenching story about a guy who had asthma, but so he couldn't join the Marines. So the space alien fixes his asthma so that he can go and die in the Iraq War. So it's just really, really jarring at times.
This show came out in what, 2005?
I think it's 2009.
Jeez, and he took a series from what, 2000?
2001.
Three.
Because you always gotta remember, both Geno Ibuchi was greatly impacted by it, and Kamen Rider Ryuki is a reaction to 9/11.
Jesus.
That is fascinating.
But yeah, Dragon Knight was really cool. Besides that, I also watched Faiz again for the third time. Faiz is it was a jarring experience of watching something that was like, this is adorable, to watching something that's a genuine masterpiece.
I'm still going through Kabuto. I just finished like 27, where I just had a makeup fight happen, and everybody's autism is increasing at a massive level. Like, I met like Sawsword is like the funniest character
Tsurugi.
in Kabuto. He's like the master of autism.
Tsurugi is wonderful, and I recommend, if you can get your hands on it, watching the dub of Kabuto as well, because it is Godzilla dub or Godzilla English released here at times.
Oh no.
But like hearing the characters do like the Japanese like phrases like
I showed Jim a clip of like him having ramen from around the world and just seeing who they could get to be like, here's the Italian man to give his ramen. Here's the weird Hawaiian guy to give his ramen. It's so funny.
Sword or Tsurugi is like my favorite character from Kabuto. I mean, like I say that Kakami is my favorite character from Kabuto, but Tsurugi is my favorite character from Kabuto when you don't have the obvious answer of who's the best character in Kabuto.
It's so funny. That show, I laugh. It's like so insane, and I love every second of it. But all right, so this is kind of related to Dragon Knight. So the studio that made Marvel 3, Tatsunoko vs. Capcom, and the current upcoming Hunter x Hunter game, Aiding, made a Kamen Rider game on the Wii called Super Fighting Climax. And before that, they did a Dragon Knight video game for the US. That's why every Ryuki rider is in this game, because they had to use every jobber from Ryuki and cram them in and like just made a separate model, their own moveset. It's so funny. Like, it's just 90% of the roster is Ryuki riders because of this Dragon Knight video game. And this game is famous because there's a whole tier list of broken characters that are banned from competitive play. Like, Lunar Trigger. This is a character, Jim, imagine a zoning character, and every projectile you have is a homing projectile that builds beater, and you have a block guard, so you can't just keep guarding against it, because your guard will break, and you get hit by like all these projectiles that home onto your character, the heat seek. That's why he's banned. That's why Lunar Trigger's banned. Like, Skull is banned because he has a projectile that causes a 10-second cutscene to happen.
If that's the
when
same
you get hit by it.
I think I saw someone post Kabuto's like 8-hit touch of death.
So So all the Kabuto riders, everybody has a gimmick. So everybody's gimmick is in the game, and every character has like 2 or 3 transformations that change up your moveset entirely. Like all the 70 riders have like a grain filter that comes up on your screen that gives you a buff, but it looks like a classic like visuals of a old series, which is really cool. But like riders like you have O's, you have to mess around with your metal combos while in the fight to change your combos or mix and match. It's awesome. Like there's so much like the double ones you can change your mix and match your USBs and everything. Like, it's really cool. And it's just entirely broken. All the Kabuto riders can slow down time, so you can just juggle people in the air for like your entire meter to go down. It's so intricate with how many different mechanics every character has and like every form
Fucking eyes
that I'm
of
honestly
heaven ass
impressed.
balancing.
Five has like 3 different forms, like, and like I can tell like whoever like you can tell who the devs' favorite characters are because Saw Sword has like 5 different story fights where you have to unlock the characters in it. Like Wizard was a new show, so he has like his 4 forms. Like one also just spams gun shoot. All the gun shoot characters are very funny. Just like all their moves are just shooting guns.
It's fine. As Wizard's biggest hater, I'm all for Wizard slander.
He has like a minute long finishing move. It's some of the finishers are really cool to watch, but like I think I did one today where I just found out that because like, you can also just have like a setup. Oh, I can make it a tag. Instead of a form, I would have a tag so I can switch between 2 riders, and some just have like a super tag. Like I found out that Fies and what's his name, the Smile guy. I haven't watched Fies yet.
The smile guy?
Scissor.
Oh,
No, he's like the
Kai'Sa.
other rider. Yeah. They both have that team super of them together if you tag them together.
Interesting.
So there's a lot of love in this game.
Is it a bike?
Like,
Are they on a bike together?
No, they just do a kick together with their symbols coming together like at the same time.
Oh, okay. Yeah, okay. They've done that like once or twice.
But like, yeah, also there's like Eternals in the game, which is very funny. But like the Broken Tier is very fun. It's just very funny to look at, and like there's a Combo Breaker had a tournament recently. If you want to see like top tier play, which is Kabuto, Blade, and I think there was a Fies in there as well of like the top tiers.
I can imagine because one of the fun.
If you have Dolphin, I highly recommend like checking it out. There's a slight English patch somebody released for it, where it's not like the entire game, but it's like half the game is English patched. It's just a completely broken game that only the Marvel vs. Capcom guy, because they have like a million characters in it, so you can't possibly balance this broken ass game. It's ridiculous. Like I think I'm playing as Axel's fun because you can go into Trial, and Trial is a lot of fun of just bobbing and weaving in there, but you have to like survive long enough with your slow ass Axel form. Like, but he just has like when you have what's called I'm playing the O's with like the purple like the Terra form, and you could he has like restand which is like them crumble, and then you just get a free super on him. It's like so insane with the mechanics of this game that I just recommend checking out or looking up videos of it. There's like a 30-minute like basic overview of the game that's on YouTube as well. But I've been having a lot of fun with that recently when I've like not want to play Elden Ring or like taking a break on like Final Fantasy 14 expansion. So I can talk about this stupid fighting game for a while, but that's I've been having a lot of fun with it. I've been trying to learn.
Nice.
So it's getting me hyped for the Hunter x Hunter Marvel 3 game.
You're gonna go to locals. You're gonna go.
There's no all
they
locals
just,
are like on fucking Fightcade or probably.
Crollo just I think it's Crollo, right? That's the
Yeah, it's like only York knew Crollo, so he has like the
he just
fish
has the
and
fish.
stuff.
It's so lame. They couldn't have picked like.
It's
that means
funny,
that
though, how
he
much-
still only has the like I have to have the page open bullshit. He hasn't even fucking developed the advanced technique of bookmarks.
I love this bookmark.
But I don't know. They have the freaking jobber like power guy in it, so like they have like all. It's funny.
Uvo?
The guy that Karabika like beats in like 2 seconds and buries
Uvo,
him.
yeah. Oh shit! They got what's her face? The pink-haired girl.
Yeah, I love her. I'm glad she's in it. Bisky's in it. I'm pretty sure she has buff install super, which is really cool.
And I forget his name. The Japanese coded one that can like create a sun. He's pretty cool.
Yeah, they had the bomber from Greed Island for some
I
reason.
really hope that they have the fucking spider who just like needs to crank his arm, and I hope like if you like do that for a straight minute, you just have a fucking insta kill.
They have the guy.
Oh my god!
They were in
yeah,
the
that is
cutscene.
the guy.
the
Oh wait,
cutscene-
no shit, that's a different guy. I
The
forgot.
cutscene for Crollo had the dude with the collar over his mouth, so he's
Yeah,
Seems
the
gonna be-
Japanese
yeah, that's
one.
the one who can make the
Yeah.
sun.
Yeah, he's in the cutscene with Corolla, so I'm thinking he's in it. I feel like
Just
the
have
most of
him
the roster is
on.
probably going to be spiders, and like
I mean,
probably
hey,
all
they're
the
all
major
great.
Chimera ants, most
And
likely.
most of them are great.
I'm excited for
Yeah.
it. It's a very low budget. If the budget is like insanely low for that game because Marvel 3 was only them getting budget from Marvel and Capcom, so like that's just why it's like a cheaper game. But in all they reuse a lot of assets from Marvel 3, and like the intro animations are just the Marvel 3 intros where it does like the
This looks
panning.
fine.
Yeah, no, if you look at the budget, it's like shocking. It's crazy how low it is. And people are like, this isn't like Guilty Gear animation. I'm like, yeah, this is like a minimum budget. They probably spent most of the budget getting the IP.
The fact
It,
that it like I trust the people making
yeah,
it to make like a
it's
fun
like
game.
it's like the Power Rangers fighting game where that was like a low budget, but they like there are people that played Marvel made that game, so like it's a very like Marvel alternative game as well. But I'm excited for that fighting game. Aiding is very funny. So yeah, if you have curious to check out this stupid game from Japan that's broken as hell, I recommend it.
Wait, is this coming out in October?
Yeah, is it coming out like this year? They've
What
been
the
announcing
fuck?
character like every week. There's like no real pattern to it.
Damn, that'll be fun. Hope it's good.
It's probably gonna be like a $40. It's gonna be a cheap game. It was like a $30-$40. I'm gonna bet. Because Sparking Zero, the Dragon Ball game, is like it was like $70 games, $80 games.
I do want to say I have one more thing that I want to bring
Go
up.
ahead. I rented long enough.
Today I watched the first and only episode of the Deer
Deer?
Girl anime.
I did too.
I think it's called. Oh hell yeah! It's called My Dear Friend Nokono. I think
Yeah,
that's her
it's
name.
like Shikanoko no san, like my dear friend.
Yeah. I really fucking liked it. I thought it was really funny.
You know what it reminds me a lot of, and I went and I rewatched the whole series. I mean, it wasn't long. It's like a fucking 12 episode and then a 2-episode season 2. It reminds me a lot of Bludgeoning Angel Dokuro-chan. It's
I can
very
see that.
crass, very violent, but like it's not as crass as Dokuro-chan, but it does hit that same level of sort of like. I don't want to call it a trashy show because it's very well made. I thought a lot of the jokes hit pretty well. I think it's very like it feels like a 4-coma turned into a turned into a main show.
Yeah.
But like the jokes landed for me. I enjoyed it. I enjoyed it significantly. But it does feel very trashy in like a very positive way, a way that I haven't watched an anime be since Dokuro-chan in a while.
I feel the exact same way. There's so many of these like let's call them like legacy 4-coma manga adaptations. Like your K-On's. Oh, K-On's a bad example actually. Like your Nichijous,
Lucky Star.
your Lucky Stars. These are shows that I've tried to watch multiple times and I always bounce off of them. And I can acknowledge they're fine and funny, but they're just not hitting the humor right for me. But this one like totally hit it right. Like the humor is like really good. The kind of gimmick that I wasn't expecting is the main girl, like the normal, like our protagonist girl, is like supposed to be like a perfect, like it's great grades, is like admired by everyone, but her secret is that she was actually a Yankee. She actually was like a delinquent girl, and now she's trying to like turn a new leaf, but for some reason the deer girl knows that she was a Yankee and picks at that wound. But yeah, I just found it really funny. I really appreciated like the wackiness. To me, I was getting vibes of what is it, Plastic Nissan? Is that what that was called? I love Plastic Nissan so much. I think it's called something different. Plus Tick Elder Sister. I remember it's probably still on YouTube, but like someone just put all the episodes of Plastic Nissan. It's in one YouTube video. And I've watched it 99,000 times.
Nichijou might also
so
be another
funny.
good comparison.
Yeah, Nichijou is the one that I think is probably most accurate due to like the level of like quality, like the level of commitment to the bit, and going all out on like animation. Like there's so many little gags in this Deer show where like the entire fucking set, or like they'll 3D render like an entire area just to have like a zoom in camera pan. As a gag, but it's like you fucking rendered the whole like side of the school for no reason.
Or just
And all
the
the
deer
deer,
that
I'll
keep appearing and like unexplained.
Yeah, the creepy CGI like uncanny valley deer are really
I think
funny.
it's what makes me jump to Dokuro-chan though, personally, is like how bloody it's been already. Like,
Yes, that is something I really love. Actually, it's really fucking funny how bloody it is.
Yeah, I saw that one scene on Twitter with like her walking to the room and like 3 people getting hit by shrapnel.
that one,
Yeah, that was a really
that
good
one's
gag.
pretty good. But like, there's another one where she just has like a fountain of blood shooting out the top of her head, and it's like that comedic like fountain of blood that you don't see a lot. I mean, I don't see it a lot. Maybe there's a lot of shows being made that are like fulfilling this interest that I'm just like ignorant to. But like, it's something that I don't see a lot anymore, and I kind of miss it a bit.
Yeah, it's funny. I think what happens is she like trips and like her horn breaks off and like it lodges itself into her forehead, and yeah, she's just gushing blood. It's funny. I had the same reaction, like the scene when like all the debris starts hitting the students and they start bleeding. I don't know, you just don't see blood in anime, like this kind of comedy anime, and I had like a visceral reaction. I was like, oh wow, that's funny. Like, look, they're bleeding. Like, oh, that guy has like blood shooting out of his mouth. That's hilarious. I want to go watch Bludgeoning Angel now. I only watched like an episode of that years ago.
It's very short and very crass. But it's one of those shows that I watched like on like Anime on Demand fucking forever ago, back before like the internet had like it uploaded on YouTube. I mean, it's probably uploaded on YouTube. I just wasn't smart enough to find it.
And it left like an incredible impact.
I have
in you
never
just 'cause you saw
forgotten
at that
it.
age.
It's always been in the back of my mind whenever I see certain things. It's specifically how certain scenes are animated. It's like, that's the first time I've seen anime do that, or that's the first time I've seen anime do that, and so that's just gonna be that forever.
Isn't the gimmick that like she kills him but brings him back to life every time? Like that's so he can never die.
She is a time traveling angel from the future with her like Excalibur. It's like Excalibur, which is like a fucking metal bat with a bunch of spikes on it that is basically a magic wand, and she just bludgeons him to death whenever like he does something kind of perverse. Because apparently he's going to invent a technology in the future that's going to make all women look like children, and that's a weird part of it.
Oh yeah, that's right. I forgot about that.
So she's there to keep him pure and not make that technology. But then we see another character from that future who is an adult woman who is a child. So like, it is completely different than what they're saying. It's just a very weird show. And like, Dokuro is like one of those. Like, she is the yandere archetype that isn't the girl from
Yume
Nikki. She's like she'll be volunteered to do something, and then another person will be like, all right, you're with the class president, and she'll just fucking change that person forever, and no one will question it, just so that she can go with the protagonist somewhere who clearly doesn't want to go with her.
Yeah, no, this sounds good. This sounds like how I'm going to spend the rest of my afternoon.
Very short, very enjoyable. The second season's 2 episodes, and the art style changes completely and gets worse, sadly.
Did it get like insta canceled? Only got like 2 episodes.
I think it was a Blu-ray because they're OVAs, so like.
Oh, that makes more sense. Okay.
But it very very interesting experience. I tried to see if I could catch up with the manga. No, that shit's like not translated. No one gave a fuck about this.
Damn, isn't that crazy that we live in a world where there's shit like that? Like, that's something that I would assume has, like, some guy. There must be some guy out there translating. Like, the fact that My Balls was translated and I could read my... Because that's the other anime... Well, it's not an anime. The other manga I was thinking of in this vein, like, it's got a similar thing where, like, oh, an angel has to live with a guy to make sure he never ejaculates, because if he does, Ragnarok lives in his balls, so...
One person finds like one thing they really love, they're going to translate it, or like, they want to share this to the world for how bizarre it is.
Yeah, I fucking love My Balls. It's very funny. I didn't read too much of it though.
Like a lot of those OVAs that just have subtitles, no matter like what quality in there. You're like, this is the most random thing that somebody like wanted to translate.
Oh yeah, like when you see like the classic OVAs that were like tape translated, that was some dedication.
Oh yeah. Yeah, those are the true fucking patriots.
All right, my dogs are now freaking out, so...
All right, let's end this now.
All right, Maddie, go ahead and plug whatever you want to plug.
You can buy Shimonetta.com. Also, go watch Girls Band Cry. I don't care how you find it, because Bandai doesn't give a fuck either. Girls Band Cry.
Oh, I want to watch that.
It's one of the many things Bandai doesn't care about. Thank you, everybody, for listening. If you like the episode, please like, comment, leave a review, whatever helps the podcast. If you want your name shouted out at the beginning of JOKAKAKA episodes every month, you can leave whatever you want on the Patreon. You can also follow the podcast and everybody here separately on Twitter. And with that, I believe that's all the plugs. I think we are all sweating and dying a little bit in this heat. So,
Yep. All right. Thank you so much. Have a wonderful week.
Bye
bye. Have a
bye.
wonderful day.